It happens every once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens every once in a while where you kind of feel that you're in the midst of something that is really special. And if everybody else connects to it that's on the team and manages to market it and get it out there, and that it's going to work, and that it can change lives. And that happened in High School Musical. That happened for me with Dirty Dancing. That happened to me with so many different projects that I've been a part of. As a choreographer, as a director choreographer, and with Descendants, I was just saying, just having a conversation about the moment that Kristen Chenoweth was on the set, and we were and we were shooting Rotten to the Core with the four principal, characters in Descendants. And I watched them come rocking down the street on the Isle of the Lost. And I was like, whoa, we've got something here. Descendants, not unlike High School Musical. When we first brought High School Musical to the Disney Channel, Barry Rosenbush and Bill Borden and Peter Barsacchini and I, it was a High School Musical working title. And Gary Marsh, the president of the Disney Channel, said, Kenny, what would you do if you could do anything with this that you wanted? If I gave you, free license to do whatever you would want to do with this. And I said, well, I'd want to turn it into a break into song musical, of course. He laughed. He said, I've been waiting 4 years for the right person to come in and to say those words to me. And with Descendants, again, they gave me an incredible script, the children of Disney heritage characters, and I thought to myself, so many of those films were music driven, that featured the parental characters, and, right. And we just talked about it, and it wasn't really, I don't think, a conversation that lasted more than 10 minutes. And we brought Steve Vincent in and started talking about creating an outline for music for the film.
I'm curious if there's anything you learned from working on the High School Musical movies, any kind of, anything that you brought creatively into Descendants from your High School Musical experience.
Sure. Taking your time in casting is a big thing. There's so many things. I learn every time I step out and do something. I'm forever, remodeling the approach that I have to working in film with young people. I would say that the chemistry of the cast in High School Musical, that we took our time. I got in trouble. I remember Judy Taylor, our casting director at Disney Channel, said the agents are freaking out. Why are you keeping the actors in these auditions for so long? And then the next day she came back and she said Zac Efron's agent called and said that he had the best audition of his whole life. And even if he doesn't get the role, it was like so monumental that I really put everyone through a lot. And I'm always looking for partners, not just actors, partners that bring something to the party every day. And I learned the value of that and how much we could accomplish with actors that, were bright and inspired and colorful in their thinking and imaginative, like Ashley Tisdale, my gosh. And
incredible.
And so that was what I learned, was that's the key tool. So when we went after the cast for Descendants, I was looking, you can't create chemistry, you can't direct it, you can't ask for it, it's there. So you're looking for that chemistry between the actors, and then you're also looking for those folks that are going to bring something, to help sort of build the world. And I got lucky again.
Yeah. And in both examples, it wasn't just one movie. They're going to continue to work together, and so that chemistry continues to grow throughout, which is exciting. And maybe you probably didn't know that at the time.
And it did. The friendships grew, the chemistry grew, the talent grew. They helped one another. They were like food for one another. There was never competition. It was just always sort of feeding off one another, responding to one another, connecting, making a greater connection. And they did that just naturally, both casts. And beyond, the principals. Sarah Jeffries and Brenna D'Amico and Mitchell Hope and us, China Ann McLean, Jada Marie. So many of the actors that came in were impossible to let go of, because it just, we were very fortunate and grateful to Disney too for the time that they allowed me, in the search We look globally. We look globally for Descendants. Thomas Doherty came from, the British Isles, and we had kids from all over the United States and audition. Mitchell came from Australia, all the way from Sydney. Melbourne. So yeah, Disney was really, really great in letting me get a chance to look at everyone.
Yeah, that's so important. And then they feel seen, like like your Zac Efron example you just gave. People will feel seen when they're really there, and they have that, you've invested that time in them, which obviously we know is worth it now. And thinking about how, Descendants has really taken off. It's become such a huge franchise. I'm curious if there was a moment, maybe after the first movie came out, that you kind of encountered it in the wild or something where you realized, wow, this is really big. I'm curious if you have had a moment like that, or if you can recall anything like that.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens every once in a while where you kind of feel that you're in the midst of something that is really special. And if everybody else connects to it that's on the team and manages to market it and get it out there, and that it's going to work and that it can change lives. And that happened in High School Musical. That happened for me with Dirty Dancing. That happened to me with so many different projects that I've been a part of. As a choreographer, as a director choreographer, and with Descendants, I was just having a conversation about the moment that Kristen Chenoweth was on the set, and we were shooting Rotten to the Core with the 4 principal, characters in Descendants. And I watched them come rocking down the street on the Isle of the Lost. And I was like, whoa, we've got something here. This is good, bad. This is good, bad. And
which people love to hate, right? When you have a villain like that.
And I just felt it. And I think that there was an exhilaration throughout the entire making of the film. I think without saying it, we all kind of knew that there was this great possibility that we were onto something. That was enjoyable. Everything was enjoyable, and the kids were so multi-talented, so capable of anything that I could throw at them. And again, like in High School Musical and Cheetah Girls, and working with Miley and the Jonas Brothers. I've been so fortunate at the Disney company, working with young people that bring so much, and that becomes so big, a big part of the end result.
Yeah. And I think that's what keeps people coming back. To come see, Descendants 2 and 3 and so forth, because of that energy, because of that just talent that is just so addicting, kind of, in a way.
People ask me, a lot of, people say, what is it? What is that magic? What is the magic? And it's the kids themselves, and how they surrender themselves into these roles and into the world together with each other. That makes it just so fun and
yeah. I'm curious if they're
relatable characters too.
Yes. Even if it's in a fairy tale world, there's still the human element there, right? Which is important. I'm curious if there was ever a Disney fairy tale or character or property that you weren't able to include in the original movie or movies that you were interested in, or if you think would be a good fit, like in a future one.
Well, that's a great question, because, I got to have a few in there. I got to have Maleficent's daughter in, not that I chose her, but we had Maleficent's daughter in there. We had the Evil Queens, Captain Hook's son, Thomas Doherty, that played Captain Hook's son. There were a lot. I'm thinking maybe I always was a big fan of Peter Pan. If I was ever to come back and do Descendants again, I would probably kind of say, hey,
I love that. And of course there is more Descendants coming out. There's another one next year, and then there's this tour. So the franchise, the property continues to expand. And I'm excited to see where it goes next. Yeah,
I'm so proud of the franchise and how it continues to grow and manage to entertain. And I too can't wait to be able to catch the show. I'm looking forward to the concert.